In a crowded church in Ajigono, a woman screamed, rolled on the floor, and vomited a snake. The crowd gasped. The prophets declared victory over demons. But what no one knew was that the snake was made of plastic. For Prophet Jeremiah and Prophet Samuel, deliverance wasn't about saving souls, it was a business. In the small back room behind the church, Prophet Jeremiah wiped sweat from his face. He smiled as Samuel counted the offering. Bundles of naira filled the plastic bowl. "We made over 500,000 tonight, Prophet," Samuel said, grinning. "And tomorrow, double that," Jeremiah replied. "Lagos wants miracles, we give them a show." They laughed, clinking bottles of malt together like businessmen after a deal. Outside, the posters read, "Night of Holy Fire, demons must flee." But inside, they were planning their next performance, hiring new actors, rehearsing fake testimonies, editing camera angles to make the crowd look larger. Jeremiah's motto: "Fake it with confidence, and even the devil will believe you." Samuel laughed, but behind his smile was something else: guilt. He once believed in real power. But after losing everything years ago, he learned pretending paid better than praying. That night, while they divided the money, a gust of wind blew the candles out. Jeremiah frowned. "Close that window." But the window was already shut. Samuel looked uneasy. "You feel that?" he asked quietly. Jeremiah waved him off. "It's just Lagos breeze. Don't grow superstitious." As they packed up, Jeremiah looked into the offering bowl and whispered, "If only they knew, the real demons aren't out there. They're right here, counting money." He laughed at his own joke. But the laugh echoed, longer than it should have. Samuel turned sharply. "You heard that?" "Heard what?" Someone laughed back. Silence. They left the church that night, lights off, generator humming. Neither of them noticed that the snake from their performance, the plastic one, was no longer on the altar. When you fake fire for too long, something real starts to burn. She arrived soaked in rain and fear, clutching a photograph like it was the last thing keeping her daughter alive. They called her Mama Uche. But that night, even the prophets who faked demons were about to meet one they couldn't control. Office. Dim light, dripping ceiling. Jeremiah counting naira. Samuel reading social media comments on his phone. "Jeremiah, the video is trending, snake woman healed by fire. Lagos believes we carry power." Samuel, smacking power. "We carry camera angles." "Men of God," she whispers, voice shaking. "My daughter, she laughs when I pray. She screams your names in her sleep. Please, help me." Jeremiah exchanges a glance with Samuel, opportunity. A real-life case would boost their fame again. "Jeremiah, madam, bring her to our next crusade. The holy fire will cleanse her." His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Samuel studies the picture, a young woman, Chidinma, eyes half open, pupils like ink spreading in water. For a moment, he feels cold air brush his neck. "Samuel, prophet, something about this one feels wrong." "Jeremiah, nothing's wrong. Fear sells. This will make headlines." To her, these men were saviors. To them, she was a ticket to another miracle video. "Wind her." Samuel shivers. "Did you hear that?" Jeremiah lights another candle. "Just thunder, my brother." But the flame bends sideways, though the window is closed. Sometimes, mercy wears a mask. And the ones we run to for help are already haunted. That night, Prophet Jeremiah planned the grandest deliverance Lagos would ever see. But he didn't know, the woman he promised to help had brought a real invitation from hell. They said the next crusade would shake Lagos, that demons would scream, and angels would descend. What no one knew was that every miracle was rehearsed, like theater. But this time, the stage lights were pointed at something real. 3 days later, posters covered every wall in Ikorodu. Night of Holy Fire, Deliverance live on YouTube. Crowds were already forming long before sunset. Inside the church hall, Prophet Jeremiah strutted between cables and microphones. He barked orders at the camera crew. I want smoke machines ready before I say fire. Do you hear me? And keep the women in the first row crying, it sells emotion. Samuel, quieter, scrolled through the registration forms. Over 1,000 names. He sighed. All these people, prophet, they actually believe we can save them. And we will, Jeremiah replied, adjusting his gold wristwatch. We'll save them from boredom. Give them a show, they'll give us faith, and their pockets. Across town, Tomowa Baligan, an investigative YouTuber, packed her small DSLR camera. She'd heard rumors of fake miracles, and this crusade was her chance to expose it. Sound, phone notification ping. A message from her friend, a choir member at the church. Be careful. The last journalist that filmed them disappeared. Tomowa hesitated, then whispered to herself. If I don't tell the truth, who will? That night, she blended into the crowd, scarf over her head, camera hidden under a shawl. Sweat, perfume, and anticipation thickened the air. Everywhere she turned, people prayed, cried, and hoped. Voiceover, emotional tone. Hope, it's the easiest thing to sell in Lagos. Especially when life offers none. Backstage, Jeremiah rehearsed lines. Samuel watched the live stream countdown. 10. 9. 8. Samuel's hands trembled. Prophet, about the girl, Mama Uche's daughter. Are you sure we should? Jeremiah snapped. This is what they paid for. A real battle. Do you think demons wait for consent? They brought Chidima to the stage, thin, pale, eyes half closed. The crowd gasped. She looked fragile, but there was something heavy in the air around her. Jeremiah raised the mic. Tonight, darkness shall confess its defeat. The choir erupted. Samuel held the oil bottle with shaking hands. Tomowa zoomed in, every second recording. Jeremiah touched the girl's head. She jerked violently. The lights flickered once. Twice. Sound cue, deep rumble, cable snapping. In the name of, Jeremiah shouted. But the mic cut out. For a moment, only the wind spoke through the speakers. Then, Chidima's eyes opened. Her voice, layered and echoing. Prophet. Jeremiah Adewale, you remember Calabar, 1999. Jeremiah froze. No one in the world knew what happened in Calabar. Not even Samuel. The crowd began to panic. Some screamed, others knelt. Tomowa kept filming, heart pounding. The power surged back. All the bulbs turned red for half a second. Then everything went dark. For the first time, the prophets weren't acting. And for the prophets weren't acting. And for the first time, the demons weren't pretending either. They wanted viral fame, but what went viral that night wasn't a miracle, it was fear. You can rehearse a lie, but truth doesn't need a script. For years, they mocked the supernatural. Until the night it decided to mock them back. When the lights went out, panic spread like wildfire. Some fainted. Others ran toward the exits, only to find the doors jammed. Samuel's voice trembled. Prophet Jeremiah, it's just power failure, right? Jeremiah swallowed hard. He knew the generator had automatic backup. But this darkness, it wasn't normal. It had weight. From the stage, Chidima's voice rose, distorted and layered with multiple tones. You lied in my name. You called on spirits you didn't understand. The crowd gasped as her body lifted slightly off the ground. Her eyes glowed a deep amber, reflecting the camera flashes. Jeremiah screamed into the dead mic. Silence. This is a test from the Lord. But no one could hear him. Only the echo of the girl's laughter filled the hall, cold, hollow, endless. Tomowa, crouched behind a pillar, kept filming, whispering to herself. This can't be an act. This can't. Samuel grabbed his anointing oil and tried to pour it on Chidima's head. The oil turned black before it touched her skin. He dropped the bottle, it shattered, spilling smoke instead of liquid. Then, in front of everyone, She spoke again, but this time, in Jeremiah's own voice. I am the one who said, let's fake it until we make it. I am the one who mocked the living and the dead. The prophet fell to his knees. Sweat drenched his robe. He stammered. Who are you? What do you want? I want truth, she said. And payment for every lie. Samuel backed away slowly, whispering prayers he barely remembered. Blood of Jesus, blood of. But the ceiling fans began to spin backward, faster and faster. All the crosses in the hall turned upside down with a metallic screech. Tomowa kept the camera steady even as tears ran down her face. She was documenting history, or hell. Suddenly, Chidima's body went still. Then she looked straight at the prophet. Prophet Jeremiah Adewale. Calabar, 1999. You thought the child drowned by accident. But he didn't die, he was offered. Samuel turned to his mentor, confused. Prophet, what is she talking about? Jeremiah's eyes widened in horror. He grabbed Samuel's arm. We need to leave, now. The crowd had no idea what was happening, but whispers spread fast. Did he kill someone? Calabar. What did he do there? Tomowa zoomed in on Jeremiah's face, guilt, terror, recognition. Her voice cracked as she whispered. This is no longer about faith. It's confession. Jeremiah tried to run, but the doors burst open violently, wind howling through. Chidima floated above the stage, hair flying, her voice no longer harsh. You wanted demons for content, prophet. Now, you are the content. All the screens in the hall flickered back to life. Every phone still recording began to stream automatically, broadcasting to the world. The false prophets had gone viral. But not for miracles. Hours later, when the police arrived, the hall was empty except for broken equipment and blood on the pulpit. Tomowa's camera was still recording, facing the stage, its last frame frozen on Jeremiah's fallen robe. No one ever found him or Samuel. Only the footage remained, uploaded by an unknown user, to every social platform in Lagos. Fake miracles sell fast. But when the real ones arrive, no one wants to buy. By morning, the video had reached over 10 million views. But the prophets were gone. By sunrise, the video of the fake exorcism had gone viral. People woke up to clips of a young girl levitating in a Lagos church, and two men of God screaming for their lives. Hashtag Mile 12 miracle trended for hours. Hashtag Real Demons became a meme overnight. TV stations replayed the footage with blurred faces. But everyone already knew who the prophets were. Prophet Jeremiah Adewale and Prophet Samuel Ogundiyu, founders of Fire and Glory Revival Ministry in Surale. But when journalists rushed to the church, there was nothing. The building was empty. The pulpit was cracked. No blood, no girl, no bodies, only silence and a lingering smell of smoke. A police officer told the press, "We can't confirm if this was staged or real. But something definitely happened here." Detective Ifeoma Daniels, Lagos State CID, was assigned to the case. A hard-faced woman in her 30s, calm but spiritually aware, the kind who still prays before entering a crime scene. She reviewed the footage frame by frame. And then she saw it, something everyone missed. At the 11:23 mark, as Prophet Jeremiah screamed, a shadow figure appeared behind him, visible only in one frame. Its eyes glowed white, not amber like the girl's. White and familiar. She zoomed in. The shape matched the outline of another man in the background, one who was never on the church's official member list. She muttered, "Who are you?" The tech team tried to trace who uploaded the viral clip, but the IP address led to no physical location. It was routed through a ghost server somewhere in Oja, then redirected overseas. Someone, or something, wanted the world to see it. That same evening, a street preacher in Mushin claimed he saw Prophet Samuel wandering barefoot near the rail tracks, speaking to himself. He said the man's eyes were blank, his voice hollow. "The fire we faked has found us." The police searched the area. Nothing. But in the middle of the night, a new video appeared online, uploaded to the same mysterious account. It showed Prophet Jeremiah, alone, sitting in a dark room, whispering. It followed me home. It's not the girl, it's what we awaken inside her. Then, static. Video cut. End of upload. The timestamp showed 1 hour in the future. Meaning, the video was posted before it was even recorded. Detective Ifeoma stared at her screen, whispering. This isn't technology, this is something else. While examining the footage again, Ifeoma froze the frame where Jeremiah's voice echoed. Behind him, on the wall, was a symbol written in oil and ashes. Her assistant said. "Ma, that looks like a pentagram." She shook her head slowly. "No, that's older. That's Yoruba, that's Ifo Sijo, but twisted." Suddenly, her laptop screen flickered. The camera light turned on by itself. On the screen, she saw her own reflection, but her reflection smiled while she didn't. Then it whispered. "He's not missing. He's becoming." The room went cold. Every bulb flickered out. When the lights returned, the footage was gone. So was her assistant. Ife drove alone through the empty Third Mainland Bridge that night, voice trembling in her audio log. "We mocked what we didn't understand. Men of God lied in his name. And now, Lagos bleeds fate." She turned off the recorder. In the rearview mirror, a figure sat silently in her backseat, face hidden, whispering a verse she couldn't recognize. They said the prophets disappeared. But maybe, they were just claimed by what they pretended to command. What would you do if your lies summoned the truth itself? Tell me in the comments. And if this story sent chills down your spine. Subscribe to Mera Stories for more tales that blur the line between faith and fear. When the prophets vanished, their trail didn't end in Lagos mainland. It led to a quiet house by the sea, where the truth waited. Detective Ifeoma Daniels barely slept. The mysterious IP address that uploaded the viral video pointed to an abandoned cyber cafe in Oja, near the water. She drove there with 2 officers, the smell of rain thick in the air. Oja looked peaceful from afar, fishermen returning from dawn, children playing near the road. But the cafe was dead silent. The signboard read, "Gracenet Communications, half burned, hanging by one screw." Inside, everything was covered in dust, except for one computer that was still on, humming quietly. On the screen, an open folder blinked with one file. Jeremiah_confession_3.mp4. The officers exchanged nervous looks. "Ma, should we play it?" She nodded. The video loaded, showing Prophet Jeremiah again, this time sitting beside a candle, crying. "They told us the rituals were fake," he whispered. "They said it was all drama, but that last night, we used real blood." The camera shook, like someone else was holding it. And then a soft voice spoke from behind the camera. "Do you regret it now, Prophet?" Jeremiah froze. He turned toward the camera slowly, eyes wide. "Tomowa." The video ended abruptly. The screen glitched, then displayed a message in red text. "She never left." Ifeoma checked the cafe records. The last internet connection from that building was 3 days after the night of the exorcism. Meaning someone returned here after the incident. But there was more. She found a handwritten journal behind one of the CPUs. It was filled with symbols, scripture verses, and the same twisted Ifo markings she saw on the church wall. One page read, "To summon faith, one must first summon fear. To fake power, you must borrow it, even if it kills you." At the bottom of the page, Prophet Jeremiah Adewole's signature. Her voice cracked. He knew what he was doing. Later that night, Ifeoma parked near Oja waterfront. Fishermen said strange things had been happening there, boats drifting away, lights seen under the water at midnight. She approached a small hut by the shore and met Mama Ino, an old woman with milky eyes. When Ifeoma introduced herself, the woman smiled slowly. "You're looking for the prophets?" "Yes." "You know where they are?" "They came here," the old woman said, pointing toward the ocean. "They thought they could wash their sins in the water. But the water took something back." Ifeoma frowned. "What do you mean?" Mama Ino began humming a deep, haunting Yoruba chant. Then whispered. The girl you saw, Chidinma, she was never possessed. She was chosen. They broke the seal that bound her spirit protector. So what happened to her now? Ifeoma asked. She's still here, Mama Ino said softly. In Oja. Waiting for the last liar to return. That night, Ifeoma returned to her car, but her dashboard camera had been recording by itself. The footage showed her entering the cafe earlier, except in the reflection of the screen, she wasn't alone. A tall dark figure stood right behind her, invisible to the naked eye. She froze. Replayed it again. Same figure. Her hands trembled as she whispered. It's following me. She drove off toward her hotel, but halfway there, her radio turned on by itself. Prophet Jeremiah's voice came through the speakers. Detective, stop digging. The church wasn't ours. We were just pawns. Then static. Then Chidinma's voice, layered and distorted. Come back to where it began, or it will come to you. Ife sat in her car by the ocean, staring at the horizon as the waves glowed faintly under the moonlight. Her recorder played her final note for the night. We fake everything in this city, miracles, success, faith. But maybe this time, the lie became too real to end. The wind blew her fire papers across the sand. On one sheet, the words appeared in black ash. Oja is just the beginning. Some lies die when the truth is told. Others come alive because of it. If you've been following this story, tell me. Do you think the prophets deserve forgiveness? Comment below. And subscribe to Mera Stories for the next chapter, where the hunters become the hunted. They thought the church was theirs. But it was never built for God. Detective Ifeoma Daniels arrived at the ruins of the Fire and Glory Revival Ministry headquarters. The building had been sealed off by police tape, but she had clearance. What she didn't expect was a hidden staircase beneath the pulpit, discovered when one of the floor tiles cracked under her boots. She called out. Hello? Anyone down there? No answer. Only the sound of dripping water. She descended slowly, flashlight trembling in her hand. The stairs led to an underground hall lined with ancient carvings, Yoruba symbols mixed with Latin scripture. At the far end, she saw a stone altar, and in the center, an old leather-bound book glowing faintly. The title read, Orison Imoli, the Source of Light. Inside the book were pages filled with confessions. Entries from different men, all calling themselves prophets. The first page bore Jeremiah's handwriting. We were chosen by the Church of Shadows. Not to serve God, but to feed the unseen. The next entries detailed rituals that blurred the line between deliverance and invocation. They described how the possessed victims were selected, drugged, and filmed to create convincing viral miracles. Except the last girl, Chidinma, reacted differently. She spoke in a language no one taught her. And when they tried to fake her possession, something answered back. Then, a final entry. If she wakes again, the bridge between the fake and the real will collapse. While scanning the chamber, Ifeoma noticed a hidden doorway behind the altar, sealed with rusted chains. She broke through. Behind it was a small office filled with photos of Prophet Jeremiah, Samuel, and one more man. An unfamiliar face, older, wearing black robes, with an inscription on his desk. Bishop Nathaniel Adesina, founder, the Church of Shadows. She whispered to herself. So you're the one who made them. But there was more, a newspaper clipping from 2004, showing Nathaniel preaching in Ibadan. The headline read, Bishop declares miracle revolution, the age of visual deliverance. She pieced it together. The fake exorcisms were his invention. The viral miracles, his experiment. And the fake prophets, his puppet. Ifeoma's phone buzzed, a new message from an unknown number. It contained a photo. Chidinma, standing outside the Oja waterfront, alive, staring directly into the camera. Caption. You found his church. Now find his grave. She looked at the timestamp. The photo was taken 2 minutes ago. Heart pounding, she raced back to Oja. But as she reached the shore, a cold mist rolled in. The old woman, Mama Ino, was waiting. You went below, didn't you? She said. Now you've been marked. Who is she, really? Ifeoma demanded. What is Chidinma? Mama Ino smiled sadly. She's not possessed. She's the vessel of balance. The prophets used her body as a bridge between this world and the one their lies awakened. And Nathaniel. He wanted to control her power. But when she woke, he offered himself in exchange. Ifeoma's eyes widened. He's dead. Buried beneath the church you just entered, Mama Ino said. But not for long. Thunder cracked. The ocean waves rose unnaturally high. Somewhere behind them, a church bell rang, even though the nearest church was miles away. As Ifeoma watched the waves crash, her phone lit up again, a live stream starting automatically. The title read, The Church of Shadows, Service Resumes. On screen, a dark silhouette stepped up to a pulpit that shouldn't exist anymore. He raised his head slowly, Bishop Nathaniel. His eyes glowed faint gold. Behind him stood Jeremiah and Samuel, motionless, silent. The voice came through the speakers. The fakers served their purpose. The harvest of lies has begun. They built their church on deceit. But even darkness demands its offering. If this story left you speechless, tell me. Do you think evil can hide behind holy words? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to Mirror Stories. For the next chapter, where truth will finally fight back. Lagos never sleeps. But that night, it dreamed something back to life. A strange rainstorm hit Lagos at dawn. But it wasn't like normal rain, it fell in slow motion, each droplet glowing faintly as it touched the ground. People who stepped into it claimed they heard voices calling their names. Phones glitched, streetlights flickered, and every church bell in the city rang at once, even abandoned ones. Detective Ifeoma Daniels drove through the chaos, windshield wipers useless against the glowing drizzle. The radio buzzed with static before a voice broke through, deep, distorted, yet familiar. Detective, your faith will be tested tonight. Her heart stopped. It was Prophet Jeremiah's voice. But he was supposed to be in custody, sedated and chained. She pulled over, dialed the station, and heard pure panic on the other end. Madam. They are gone. Jeremiah and Samuel, they vanished from their cell. At that exact hour, miles away in Ajij, people reported seeing two men walking barefoot through the floodwaters, robes soaked, eyes vacant, humming an old Yoruba hymn. They entered a small Pentecostal church mid-service, walked up to the altar, and said softly, "We came to finish what began." Then every person in the church dropped to their knees, not out of faith, but as if pulled by invisible strings. Ifeoma arrived minutes later. Bodies lay unconscious, not dead, but each person's pupils glowed gold. And in the center stood Chidinma, awake, calm, her wet hair plastered against her face. "I warned you," she said softly. "He's awake too." Meanwhile, at the ruins of Fire and Glory Ministry, the ground beneath the old pulpit began to pulse like a heartbeat. CCTV footage later showed the earth cracking open, faint light rising through it. From beneath, a figure emerged, Bishop Nathaniel Adesina, untouched by age, skin glistening with the same faint gold rain. He smiled and whispered to the empty hall. "The Church of Shadows stands again." Back at Ajij, Ifeoma demanded answers. "Who are you, Chidinma?" "I was just a vessel," she replied, voice layered with echoes. "But now, I'm what keeps your word from theirs." Theirs. The spirits Nathaniel summoned, the ones he pretended to cast out. They are not demons, detective. They are truth, and truth always finds its way back. Across the city, chaos erupted. People claiming visions. Statues in churches weeping. Power surges frying every television screen, except one message displaying in bold red text. "Attend the awakening, midnight, Makoko." Pastors and imams went silent. The police lost communication. And for the first time in years, the entire Lagos mainland experienced a blackout. Only one light remained visible, the floating, flickering glow above Makoko Lagoon. Ifeoma drove there with Chidinma in the back seat, praying under her breath. When they arrived, they saw hundreds of people standing barefoot on the water, eyes golden, chanting Nathaniel's name. In the center, on a platform made of abandoned boats, stood Bishop Nathaniel, arms raised, Jeremiah and Samuel kneeling beside him. He spoke, his voice amplified by something unnatural. "For years, they faked deliverance to feed me faith. But faith, real or false, is power. Tonight, I rise as their God." Lightning struck the lagoon, and the water glowed. Chidinma stepped forward. "You fed on lies, Nathaniel. Now taste truth." She raised her hand, and the lagoon reflected not the sky, but thousands of screaming faces, the souls of those deceived by false miracles. Nathaniel laughed, spreading his arms wide. "Then let me join them." The water swallowed him whole. The storm stopped instantly. Silence. The people collapsed. The glow faded. Hours later, Lagos returned to normal. No one remembered what happened. News channels called it a freak storm. But Ifeoma knew. When she looked at Chidinma, she saw calm peace until the girl whispered one final line before disappearing into the morning mist. "Balance is restored, for now." And in the distance, faint church bells rang again, but this time, not from any church that still existed. They used fake faith to summon real evil. And paid the price with their souls. Tell me, if truth and lies both hold power, which one rules your faith? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this story gave you chills. Subscribe to Mera Stories, where every tale hides a truth you're not ready for. Sometimes, silence is louder than chaos. Lagos woke up, but the city wasn't the same, and neither was she. 2 days after the storm, newspapers printed headlines like "A rare lightning surge hits Lagos" and "No fatalities recorded." But those who were there knew better. Detective Ifeoma Daniel sat at her desk, staring at the CCTV footage she secretly kept, footage no one else believed. Frames of people glowing. Jeremiah kneeling before a shadow. And a single still of Chidinma, staring directly into the camera, whispering words that couldn't be heard. Her colleagues thought she'd gone quiet from trauma. But Ifeoma wasn't quiet, she was listening. Every night since the storm, she heard a soft voice in her apartment, a young woman's voice saying, "Detective, balance must hold." That evening, she walked into her bathroom and saw something impossible. Her reflection blinked a second late. Sound, glass creak, faint whisper under the mirror. Her phone buzzed. A new video had been uploaded to an anonymous YouTube account, the title, "The True Miracle, Raw Footage, Makoko Night." The thumbnail froze her blood. It was her, holding a gun at Chidinma. But she never did that. She played the clip. In the video, she shouted, "I'll stop you if I must," before firing a shot. Then Chidinma fell into the lagoon, not Bishop Nathaniel. "What is this?" she whispered, tears forming. She visited the tech unit to trace the video source. The technician paled. "Madam, this video wasn't uploaded from any IP address. It appeared in the system at 3:33 a.m., timestamped 5 minutes before the Makoko incident even happened." Ifeoma felt dizzy. Time itself was folding. Reality didn't match memory anymore. Later that night, she opened her case file, but her own handwriting had changed. Everywhere she wrote Chidinma, the ink had shifted to spell Balance. Samuel, the quiet prophet, was found wandering barefoot near the Third Mainland Bridge, muttering the same sentence over and over. "He's not gone. He's inside those who believed." When Ifeoma questioned him, he grabbed her wrist violently and said, "You filmed it, didn't you? You spread the truth. That's how he lives again." She recoiled. "Who?" "Bishop Nathaniel. The moment you uploaded truth, you gave him form." The idea chilled her, that truth itself could resurrect evil. That night, her power went out. She lit a candle. In the flickering light, the reflection in the window smiled back at her, even though she wasn't smiling. Then the reflection whispered in Nathaniel's voice, "You showed them my face, detective. Now I show them yours." Fade to black. Her shadow stretched across the wall, moving on its own. It reached toward her, fingers spreading. In panic, she screamed, "Chidinma, you said balance was restored." A soft wind blew through the room. The candle went out. And from the darkness came Chidima's voice, faint but near. Balance always demands a price. Fade to black. They say the truth will set you free. But in Lagos, truth doesn't free you. It finds you. It follows you. And when it catches up, it takes something in return. What do you think the price of truth really is? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe to Mera Stories, where every truth comes with a cost. Some stories don't end with peace. Some end with balance, the kind that demands blood, faith, and silence. 2 weeks after the Makoko incident, Lagos felt wrong. The nights were longer. Street lights flickered more than usual. And in the heart of Yoba, people whispered that a woman walked the street at 3:33 a.m., her shadow moving before she did. Detective Ifeoma Daniels hadn't slept since that night. Her eyes carried dark circles, her hands trembled. Every mirror in her apartment was covered. But she could still feel him there, the reflection that whispered her name. Sound, quiet whisper, Ifeoma, layered under ambient hum. Her phone rang. The caller ID was blank. When she answered, a familiar voice spoke, Chidinmas. He's not gone. You're holding him. What do you mean? Ifeoma whispered. Every truth needs a keeper. You saw him, you exposed him, now you carry him. Following Chidima's directions, Ifeoma drove toward Makoko at midnight. But when she arrived, the lagoon was gone, replaced by a stretch of cracked earth glowing faintly beneath the fog. Chidima stood at the center, barefoot, wearing white. Her voice was soft, almost like prayer. The line between lies and truth has been broken. You tried to save the world by exposing it. But the moment people believed your footage, Nathaniel's power was reborn through faith itself. Then how do we stop it? Ifeoma demanded. Balance, Chidima whispered. One truth must die, for all others to live. The ground cracked open beneath them. Voices rose from the earth, thousands of echoes crying, praying, screaming. Every lie, every fake deliverance, every staged miracle, all replaying in the air like a broken record. Then he appeared. Bishop Nathaniel, his form flickering like static, half real, half shadow. His voice was soft but commanding. You cannot destroy faith, detective. It built me. Even now, they believe in me more than they believe in your truth. He stretched out his hand. Join me, become my witness. The prophet of reality. Ifeoma trembled. You manipulated them, all of them. No, Nathaniel smiled. They begged to be deceived. You just gave them proof. Chidima stepped forward, eyes glowing faint gold again. He feeds on attention, on belief. That's why the videos must be destroyed. Ifeoma realized every copy of the footage online, every share, every comment, kept Nathaniel alive. Her truth was his resurrection. She whispered. If I delete it, will it end? Not unless the truth dies with it, Chidima said sadly. Tears filled Ifeoma's eyes. She raised her gun, hands shaking. So that's the balance. Yes, Chidima replied. One truth. One life. Music drops. Soft rain begins to fall. Ifeoma smiled faintly. Then tell them I believed, till the end. She pulled the trigger. The sound echoed through the lagoon like thunder. When morning came, Lagos was calm again. The rain had stopped. Phones worked. Electricity returned. And all the viral videos, every trace of the Makoko miracle, vanished from the internet. News stations called it a mass digital corruption. No one remembered Ifeoma Daniels. Her apartment stood empty, mirrors uncovered, all reflections still. But at exactly 3:33 a.m. each night, the faint sound of typing echoes from her room. The unfinished police report opens itself. And one line keeps appearing on the screen over and over. Balance restored. She gave her truth to save a world built on lies. Maybe that's what balance really means, losing yourself to keep others whole. Soft ambient music, raindrops fading. Final line. In the end, truth didn't win or lose, it simply waited for the next believer. If this story left you thinking, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you believe that some truths are better left hidden, subscribe to Mera Stories, where every ending is just another beginning.